The controversial revelation. Everything you were taught about human origins is fundamentally backwards. By years of decoding ancestral markers, consumer DNA test, and David Reich's own genetic data, we've uncovered proof that the cradle of civilization wasn't in Africa, but a tribe in the Amazon forest in South America. Mainstream academia is ignoring all the ancestral markers, but the DNA reveals a hidden history of transoceanic migration flowing outward. This from the Amazon forest outward flow is to the west and to the east, carried outward by the Pacific Gyre and by the Atlantic Gyre. As gyres per definition turn round and round, these same gyres flow back to South America and the Amazon forest. All whales, turtles, eels, and migrating fish turn around in between the continents constantly and over and over. South America is the only continent that allows the currents to flow outward and back to all the continents of the whole globe. From the standpoint of the currents and continental scale landmasses, it is the center of the world. The largest South American rivers, and especially the Amazon River, allow the outward and backward flow from any place in the continental scaled Amazon forest and region to all islands and continental facades of the world. In other words, the Amazon forest is actively connected with the whole globe by means of gyres and currents. And that includes the Amazon forest tribe that all ancestral markers and consumer DNA test results clearly and granularly point out and prove genetically as well as mathematically. That is also what consensus refuses to recognize. For consensus, this is extremely inconvenient, because it proves that its scientists were wrong about everything, including wrong about out of Africa, and this at least for the last 100 years. On your screen we demonstrate the extreme reach of the Amazon River just on its own, as it stretches from Quito in Ecuador and the Pacific Ocean in the extreme west, to Belém in the northeast and the Atlantic Ocean, where the river flows in the gyre that turns around between the Amazon and Europe and Africa on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. The data-driven mystery. What if the most inconvenient data in modern genetics actually unlocks the greatest secret of our species? We are diving deep into the DNA sequences that suggest Neanderthals and modern humans emerged in South America in the Western Hemisphere. It's time to look at the global currents and genetic markers that prove migration started here. The paradigm shift. Stop looking at the maps the way they've been drawn for centuries. Also, David Reich's genetic research contains hidden evidence that supports and even suggests a radical out of the Americas theory. We are isolating and using the specific markers mainstream science refuses to discuss, proving that ancient South American mariners mastered the oceans and explored all continents millions of years before the accepted timeline. What they had to do in the first instance was to survive the Transoceanic voyages until the gyre landed them on the destination continent or back to the origin continent each time on the other side of the ocean they just crossed. In other words, they had to survive in boats, the Transoceanic voyages that the whales, turtles, eels, and all migrating fish obviously survived in the water of the same gyre since all times. There also is plenty of prehistoric evidence of megalithic whale hunting, handling and processing around and in kind of ports, this on the facades of all continents.